My land turned from this to this in just 2 months. Isn't it amazing what a little bit of love, rain, and proper management can do? Hi, I'm Scarlett, and I started a permaculture project here on the east coast of Mallorca. Follow along as I transform this derelict piece of land into a fertile food forest. Hi, and welcome back to another video. I'm really sorry it's been a while since I last posted something, but I have good reasons for that. One of the reasons I will keep a secret for a little bit longer. It's a new project I'm working on, but I promise I will tell you about it in the next video. And the other reason is that I am struggling with my health at the moment. I had back pain for a while, especially after a hard day of work out here in the country. But recently the pain just never stopped. So I went to the doctor and got it checked, and it turns out that I have a herniated disc. Fortunately, my pains weren't too bad and I am much better now already. But I think it's a clear sign from my body telling me to slow down and take a break. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm so grateful for all the help I received lately, especially over the last few months. I've never been very good at accepting help, but now my body is kind of forcing me to. And honestly, it's been a beautiful reminder that I don't have to do everything alone. Even though I've had back pain pretty much all summer, I actually got a lot done. So let me get you up to speed on what's been happening here lately. First, I had to properly install my new water pump. Luckily, I had help from a friend, and now I finally have a professional setup that works perfectly. At the same time, I had a digger come over to help with a few bigger jobs. One of them was to dig a small pond that I'm setting up for the pigs and ducks. Another task was to clear the paths between the rows of my food forest, where I want to install a few mini swales. I'll talk more about that in a separate video. The last thing we did was level the ground near the entrance, so guests will be able to park there in the future. I also hosted 2 more workshops. In the first one, we made natural cosmetics using ingredients from our own land and learned about the basics of Ayurveda. In the second one, the participants could learn how to start their own food forest. Then, one evening, while feeding my 2 black cats, I suddenly heard a faint meow coming from the bushes. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but there really was a tiny kitten hiding in there, waiting to be found. She couldn't have been older than 3 weeks, but was healthy. I still have no idea how she ended up on my land, but of course I took her in. Her name is Pluma, and she's a bit shy but absolutely adorable. Before the first rains arrived, I sowed green manure on the freshly cleared areas, and we've been very lucky this autumn. and it filled up our mini swales beautifully. After hosting a few workshops myself, I also attended one, led by the incredible Darren Doherty. It was an open consultancy in the Tramontana Mountains, where I got to meet some amazing regenerative farmers. Some from Mallorca, others all the way from Portugal or mainland Spain. We learned how to read the landscape, assess water and slope, and how to guide clients in regenerative land design, among many other insights. Because you can never learn enough, I also took a beekeeping workshop, and now I finally feel much more confident opening up my hive. I actually understand what to do, when to do it, and most importantly, why. Then I had lots of visitors, friends and family from back home who came to see the project and give me a hand. Together we tackled all those little jobs I had started but never quite finished. And we even cleaned all the tents, which had unfortunately gotten a little moldy over the summer. One of the big tasks I've been working on is restoring my old dry stone walls. To preserve them, I first need to clear away all the overgrown bushes that are damaging the stones. It's hard work, and honestly, that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, or in this case, my back. But enough talking. Let's take a look at how things are looking today. So the chickens also had quite some troubles with their health, mainly because I bought this girl, meet Erna. Since I only had like small chickens who lay tiny eggs, I wanted a real layer chicken. And I bought her at the market, and unfortunately I didn't quarantine her and she was ill, which then of course led to all my chickens being ill, so they all had the flu. And a couple of the small tiny chicks we had that were just hatching at the same time unfortunately didn't make it. But they're all better now. I hope it was worth it buying this lady because she's really beautiful and she should lay bigger and more eggs. As you can see, the appearance of my food forest changed quite a bit. We were super lucky with some rains throughout autumn, and it's just looking very beautiful and very green, and I'm super happy. Also, I think it's the first time that I'm really happy with how the food forest looks. I feel like the system is slowly stabilizing and the plants are super happy. I also burned down that tree stump that you might remember we had back here like a week ago, and it's still burning in the roots. So I'm super curious. I'll just leave it like that. We have enough rains, and I'm curious how long it will go. After we've been clearing out the corridors in between the tree lines, I sowed some green manure, but mostly what comes up is what we already had before, which is the oxalis, that looks like clover, but it isn't. Well, in German we call it Sauerklee, which means like sour clover, but it's a completely different family, so it's not nitrogen fixing, but it's still covering the ground. So I'm really happy with the work it's doing. And we have some of the green manure that I sowed coming through as well. One of the trees that has been really successful since day one, I think, was this guava tree. It just grows and grows and produces fruit, and they're ripe now. So having fresh smoothies every day, which is amazing. And something I never expected because this is actually a tropical tree. Highly recommended for anyone having a similar project in Mediterranean climate. You can eat it like this, but I prefer it in a smoothie. But of course, not all the plants are doing well. I mean, this whole food forest is a big experiment, and I've been trying out various trees that I already knew would be difficult. For instance, we have this little baby in the cage, which is a mango tree, believe it or not. And actually, this was the first tree that I've planted. So it was here before all the other trees, and it hasn't moved a bit. It's still hanging on to its life, so I gave it a little house for protection of the winds, and it gets all the water from the duck's pool, but it is struggling quite a bit. Another candidate that is not doing very well is our avocado, which also has a little house, but I need to work on that construction. It's not really working. And the third tree that I wouldn't recommend for food forests in this climate is the lychee. It got the best wind protection construction I came up with last week, but it's really not a big fan of this climate. But let me show you some plants that I'm super happy about. Talking about wind and wind protection, this vetiver has grown a lot, and it's really my favorite plant I planted for wind protection. But it also has other benefits. It has a super deep root system, and it can transport a lot of the nutrients that are deep down in the soil and carries them up into their leaves. So when we cut this down for mulch, we have these nutrients in the top layer of the soil. I have been planting different grasses in every row of the food forest to see which one performs best, and I think we have a winner. This little lemon tree is perfectly protected from these grasses, and it also provides shade in summer. And the third function this grass will have once it's grown into a nice hedge is that all the organic matter we're building up here in our tree rows is kept through the hedge of the grasses. But for that to happen, I need to propagate some of it and spread it out more evenly. And this, for example, is one of the works that I am not able to do now by myself, because the pulling out of the grass is, I mean, like, it's impossible to do without a lot of force. And I have been struggling doing this last year with a good back, so I'm not even gonna try to do that on my own this year. Having a herniated disc or any kind of back pain doesn't stop me from working. It just forces me to work smarter instead of harder. So I have been coming up with all sorts of ways to still do the work that I need to do without lifting or pulling more than 5 kilos. And let me show you my solution to propagating this grass. So to make my life a little bit easier, I took one of the rootstocks of this grass and planted it into a pot. So now I can take this out and have a lot of new plants that I can easily plant in between my other ones. So I will always keep one plant in a pot and have more than enough to propagate. Since my food forest wasn't dense enough and there weren't enough high trees to provide shade for the more vulnerable trees, I added a lot of pioneer trees this summer, and some of them grew like, I don't know, super rapidly, like this one, which is super high already. It's a moringa tree, so it's also not native, but very useful, very healthy, and also good for livestock. I grew this tree from seeds this spring. So within, I don't know, 8 months, the tree grew taller than I am, and it even needs stakes to keep up straight because it's just too tall for its own good. Let me show you one other tree that is doing really well here. This here is a Peruvian pepper tree, which smells really nice, and it also grew super fast. I planted it here specifically to provide shades to some other trees around. This one I knew it would work because you can see it a lot on the islands. But other plants that I thought would probably thrive here because they're actually also seen a lot in the Mediterranean are not coping at all with, I don't know, either my soil quality or the lack of shade. Like this little guy, which is cork oak, grows super well in Portugal, but as you can see, it's very tiny, and these two trees have been planted at the same time. As you can see, we have been digging more of our little mini swales because I have only about 20 to 40 centimeters of topsoil. I wasn't able to dig a real swale, so we were just working with what we have here, and we created a little berm and a tiny little swale. And it works actually really fine. We had some rains in yesterday and it fills up nicely for about an hour or two and just gives the rainwater a little bit more time to soak in, and the roots of our trees can then access it from below. So I'm super grateful for all the volunteers that come to help me out here. We still have our Volunteer Thursdays running, so if you want to do some work in the food forest, now I can really use some help from people with strong backs that can do the work I can't. So let's go and say hi to the pigs. Siley! I always have to wait for the second pig, Wanda. She is not as intelligent as this one, or maybe she has problems hearing, I don't know, but she's always late for feeding. Warte. The ducks have figured out that the pig's feed is actually quite delicious, so they're sharing a space now, and the pigs don't seem to mind. They're still on my neighbor's plot and they're doing a great work. As you can see, they're digging and aerating the soil, and by doing that they're also fertilizing her land and taking out all the grubs that live in the soil. So I will keep them out here for a little bit longer because I was finally able to order some new gates to close in my food forest area so that I can have the pigs roaming in between the tree rows. So the gates should arrive within a month, and after that I will be testing new grazing methods with these two monsters. If you've seen my recent videos, you know that I was struggling with the rotational grazing methods because they just don't give a about the electric fencing. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to see if it works out to have the pigs free ranging in a food forest. So this actually is the only task. I haven't found a solution yet on how to do that without hurting my back, because the pig's feed comes in bags of 25 kilos. They're really heavy for me. I mean, it's half of my body weight. So I usually have to carry them from the car and put it in these buckets. So for the time being, I just have to wait for someone to help me do that. And then I have a new construction I can show you that I'm super excited about, which is a new greenhouse. With the help of these lovely volunteers, we built up this second-hand polytunnel last week. I ordered a new plastic and shade cloth to cover the greenhouse, and I'm very excited to start propagating from my own trees soon, so I can add even more plants into my food forest without having to buy them. Since the plastic's already coming next week, I will prepare some cuttings already that I can get started right away. I'm gonna take cuttings of our fast-growing pioneer trees, like this poplar for instance. So what I'm doing now is I'm mixing up some soil with store-bought seeding mix, and then I'm just gonna cut these babies up into small pieces and hope that they will sprout, basically. So far I didn't have a great success rate with propagating from cuttings because I am not very good at keeping up a routine, so I often forget to water them. But now that it's winter, I think I'm gonna have a better chance for success. Watering is one of these things that are super bad for my back because it's really hard to lift a watering can with a straight back. But fortunately, that season is over for now, and I hope when next summer comes, I will be back in good shape. Now, as you can see, working on a farm with a herniated disc is not that easy, but is definitely possible. It's just a question of how you do things and finding new solutions that are easier on my back. I will take my time to get better, and I guess sometimes it's not just the actual physical workload. It's the whole project that is quite big and can be heavy sometimes. So I am working on sharing that load and making sure I'm only doing as much as I can carry. It is about time to bring the chickens to bed. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.